I'm Tom Gibbs, VP of Technology at Secure Impact and the team behind the hackable badges at this year's Cyber Threat. Maybe you're stuck on one of the challenges, maybe you're just interested in seeing what all the fuss is about. So let's get started. All right, okay, I'm joined for this by Simon McNamee, Security Technology Lead here at Secure Impact. Simon was instrumental in designing and building the badges and the badge challenges, and he's going to walk us through the solutions. Hello, Simon.
Hey, I wish I could take all the credit for some of these challenges. They've been awesome this year, but there was a much wider team, so I'll not steal all the glory. But what we will do is we'll jump right in. So when you opened up your badge and jumped into the challenges, you notice this year we had a nice, totally needlessly excessive but side-scrolling adventure for you to walk through as you did your challenges. So we're entering into the doors. We load each challenge. So the first one here is fairly straightforward, but nasty at the same time. So you have to make your way to the exit. And if you step on the wrong square, you'll notice a cross appears. You've failed. So a lot of people figured this out fairly quickly. I know it took me a little while. But the route you need to take is to come across and around the bottom and then up to the top here. So I'll leave that up just so you can see the route that you need to take through. But this is very much a trial and error and a test of your memory more than anything else. And then once you make it to the end here, you can step into the exit. The badge will do a little happy dance and the LEDs will flash and light up. And you'll notice the next door has unlocked.
All right, so the main things for that one, the maze, it doesn't change on each attempt. It's a memory game, really. It's the same for all the badges. And we had a little still there of the solution if you're stuck. But a nice easy one to get us going. Nice one. Okay.
Cool.
On to challenge number 2. So I know this next one had a few people scratching their heads. This is the pins challenge, needed a bit of ingenuity.
This challenge was by far one of my favorites. And when we added the exposed pins to the badges this year, we knew we had to do something like this with them. So a lot of people figured this out on their own, but solved it in some really, really interesting and fun ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, it's easy, and I'm somewhat at an advantage here. I have a little jumper cable. Now, not many people brought those to the event. We saw people solving this with paper clips. I saw one person at lunch solving this with 2 forks, which was quite impressive. And the whole trick behind this challenge is these lines along the left-hand side control these bars that control the lock. And obviously, if you've done any electronics, you'll recognize this symbol here. So we need to complete the circuit. So our 3-volt pin is hiding just here. And then in turn, we connect up where the lines are. You'll notice the bar moves across and it drops down. We just work our way through the pins, unlocking the challenge. Now, if you do stop halfway, it comes back. So you need to make sure it goes all the way across and the bar drops down before you move on to the next one. Once again, so the challenge is completed. We get the LED happy dance, and we'll notice that our next door is unlocked and our next challenge waits for us.
Very good. So yeah, need to find something knocking around the house. I think a paper clip obviously is an easy one. I think I used a pair of scissors when I did this first time around. But yeah, nice solution there. On to number 3 then.
So challenge number 3 is a little bit trickier. So this requires a little bit of careful thought, and you'll notice we've provided a tool here. So I'll explain what that is quickly in just a minute. So you'll notice the text at the top, it doesn't really make any sense, but it is broken up into chunks of 5 characters. Now this is typically when something has been encrypted using some sort of cipher or similar. And that's our first clue. Now, we notice if we open the tool up again, as we press the left and right buttons, the characters underneath are changing. This is another big clue as to what the solution to this challenge is. So these sorts of ciphers are shift or Caesar or rotational ciphers. And all you do is you take the character from the cipher text here, and you rotate it by a certain number of characters. So you move it up or down through the alphabet until it turns into something else. So you can absolutely solve this by writing out the possible combinations and then trying it to see what makes sense. Or we can leverage tools. Now, CyberChef, anytime anything like this comes up, any challenges, captured flag challenges, crypto challenge, analysis, CyberChef is one of the go-tos. So what we'll find is if we copy and paste our ciphertext into the top here, we see it in the output. Nothing's happened. We've not done anything to it. But we have identified that it's probably a rotation or shift cipher. So we can come down and get the rotation cipher, drop it in. And now you'll notice that the text changes. And as we move through the different shift amounts, the output will change too. So at this point, it's a case of trying to identify which one makes the output make sense. Now, I know the answer. I'm going to cheat a little bit. It's 11. As you see here, we're starting to see some actual words that might make sense. We've got the magic word is the model of the main chip just below the display on this badge. So we're looking for the main chip on the badge. The magic word is the model of the main chip just below the screen. So you can spot it here. It's pretty easy to identify. And just trying here, at the mercy of the camera. Yes, there we go. That's probably easier than I had reading it by eye.
I really struggled with this.
AT Mega 1284p. Now, you can probably tell that this was written by somebody much younger and with much better eyesight than I have. But now we have our answer. So we can select answer, and using the text entry here.
I think the trick to reading that was having really good light. So a really strong light. That definitely helped.
Yeah, good light.
Magnifying glass if you had one.
Yeah, we had a lot of people comment on that. And yeah, I think if the light is right, it's quite easy to see. But it might just take a couple of tries to get that sort of lighting to land on it right as well. So we enter AT Mega 1284. And we go all the way through the alphabet. Go look for P. That almost stopped it on just the right character. And as always, the flashing LEDs indicate we were right.
Very good. Okay, so yeah, you can do it with the wheel on there and pen and paper, but tools on the web probably make that a lot easier.
To be fair, a lot of people did solve this the hard way, and it is much more fun solving it the hard way. Anything like this, doing it manually, I do really enjoy it, and it was good to see people with those scraps of paper and their notepads out, kind of writing down the possible shifts and trying to work out what the answer was. It was really cool to see. And then the odd person did go, "Oh yeah, I just used CyberChef," which is absolutely a legitimate solve. So yeah, it's good. Many ways to solve this one. And yeah, it was very, very cool seeing people work through it.
Right, on to the next one.
Excellent. So we go into our next challenge. And when we open it, we're presented with these 4 boxes joined by lines. And another line that's heading off to the right of the screen. Now, the more observant amongst you might have noticed that this looks a lot like the D-pad that we have here, the directional buttons. And the last time we had lines leading off a screen like this, it was to do with interacting with a feature on the badge. So as you press these buttons, what you might notice is the LED will light when you press certain ones. And also the button on the screen will become depressed too. So the goal of this challenge is to light all of the LEDs down this side. But the trick is the buttons can only be pressed in certain orders. So the up and down buttons can only be pressed whilst the left button is pressed. So rather than trying to press it and then quickly press these, what you can do is if you hold up and down and then press left, you'll notice that they've stayed down now. Their state can't change while this button isn't pressed. And we've got 3 LEDs lit up. That's a good start. So now we need to find a way to try and get these 2 lit up. So again, I'm going to cheat a little bit with the knowledge, and I'm going to hold right and down at this point. So that's 3 out of 4 buttons. So I wonder how I get the 4th button here. I just press it. The LEDs light up. We get the badge's little happy dance, and the challenge is completed. This one was quite tricky. It's a logic puzzle. It's can you figure out the order these need to be pressed and the lights. It's not the easiest of the challenges, but we found people having a lot of fun with this one once they figured out what they needed to do. So it's worth having a play with this one, seeing if you can find more efficient ways to solve it. But that up, down, right and down and left is about the best way I've found so far. If you do find a better way, please do let me know. And spoiler, pressing all 4 buttons at the same time doesn't work.
It definitely had me for a little while, that one. Brilliant. Okay, on to the next one.
This challenge was so much fun. So it's rock, paper, scissors. Everybody knows how to play rock, paper, scissors, right? Now, the trick here is we need to beat 5 opponents in 10 consecutive games each. That seems like a big ask. I think Nathan, who created this challenge, worked it out, and it was something like 1 in 12 quadrillion chance of actually succeeding in this. But fear not, because our opponents all have certain flaws, and the challenge is to determine what that flaw is and exploit it. So opponent number 1 will play rock. Hey, they played rock. Let's try rock again. I like rock. That's interesting. They also played rock. Try paper this time. And they used rock. We'll try paper again. And they used rock. Now, observant people here may notice a bit of a pattern. This opponent always plays rock. So you can play paper 10 times and beat them.
Easy start.
So now we have a new challenger. So rock is definitely my favorite. We'll start with rock. And oh, hey, they used rock again this time. But it can't be that easy, right? We'll just stick with rock. And this time they played paper. That's not good for us.
When you fail, it goes back to the beginning of the game, right?
Yep.
The opponent,
10 consecutive games need to be won. let's try rock again. And they play scissors. Interesting. That's good for us. We win this one. I'm liking rock. We're going to use rock again. And our opponent has played rock. I'm starting to feel like there might be a bit of a pattern here. So I'm going to try scissors. And yeah, it looks like I'm right. So our opponent here is going to play rock, then paper, then scissors. So this time if we go rock, hey, look, he plays scissors. So next time, he's going to play rock. Then paper, then scissors. So this, again, is spotting that pattern and then exploiting it to beat the opponent. Oops, chose the wrong one. And now I'm out of pattern. Where are we? Opponent plays rock. Opponent plays paper. Opponent plays scissors.
And round we go.
That's it. And I will try and not lose my place this time. There we go. Last one.
All right. Second one down.
Excellent. So now we have a new challenger. Something new to figure out. So I like rock. Let's start with rock. They played scissors. Good for us. Not enough to work out what's going on yet, though. We're going to try rock again. Plays rock. Try rock again. Rock. Let's try paper this time. They played rock again. That's interesting. Excellent. That's our first win of this round. Maybe they'll like the first one. They always play rock. Let's try paper again. And they're playing paper. Now again, at this point, you've maybe spotted the pattern. It looks like, and we'll just confirm. Yep, they played paper again. This opponent will always play whatever our last move was. So we just chose rock. They're going to choose rock this time. So let's go paper. We chose paper. They're going to play paper. Let's play scissors.
Round and round we go again.
Around we go. Excellent. So challenge of 4 out of 5. Now, I know this one was a little bit trickier, and this one caught people out a little bit. So, as always, I'm a sucker for rock. Let's use rock. And they played scissors. Oh, great. That's our first win. Let's try rock again. Paper. Okay. It's not a very obvious pattern. Let's try rock again. And they played scissors. And paper. So it looks like here, if we choose rock, our opponent will always play either paper or scissors, just alternate between them. So we play rock this time and they play scissors. We get a win. Is their next move going to be paper? Maybe. Let's try scissors. And they played paper. Excellent. That's another win for us. Now, are they going to continue alternating and choose scissors this time? Yes, they are. Scissors. Rock. And again, what's actually happening here, and I've shortcut this a little bit because I know the mind of this attacker. This attacker will always choose what you chose last, much like opponent number 3. However, if you choose rock, they won't copy you. They'll alternate between scissors and paper. And I forgot my place in the order there. Opponent plays scissors. Rock is super effective. Great. And now they'll play paper. So we can force their choice. There's a flaw in their logic. We can force their choice by choosing rock, which forces them to play paper or scissors. So they're playing scissors now. And because we chose rock on our last turn, they're not going to copy us. And they've chosen scissors already, so they're not going to choose that. So we know they're going to choose paper. So we choose scissors. Now we know they're going to choose scissors because they're going to copy our last move because it wasn't a rock. So we can choose rock. Now they'll choose paper. Now they'll choose scissors. So we can exploit the logic in how it makes a decision to make sure we always pick the winning move.
When I think when you're playing through it, sometimes intuitively you can kind of spot the pattern without ever really knowing what it is. You just get that sense it feels right, and your fingers start moving without your brain getting in the middle of it. Yeah, I think that definitely got a few people stuck for a few minutes.
Yep. And then the final challenger as well. And this one's pretty tricky. And even now, whilst doing the demo and the walkthrough, I'm probably going to fail this once or twice. Because what number 5 does is alternate between the tactics of opponent number 2 and opponent number 3. Now, if you can remember, opponent number 2 just played rock, paper, scissors on a loop. Rock, paper, scissors, rock, paper, scissors. Opponent 3 always played what we last played. And it will alternate between their tactics. So if we choose rock, they play scissors because we played scissors in our last challenge. So now they're going to copy us. There we go. And again, you can abuse that logic somewhat by basically playing in a circle. And as long as he chooses, yes, there we go. He chose to copy me again. Fantastic. The badge does its happy dance and we move. This one's very fun. It can be frustrating, especially whilst you're trying to spot those patterns, whilst you're trying to figure out what the opponent is doing and how they're making their decisions. But it's good fun, and it is a nice challenge.
Brilliant. All right, getting through them. On to the next one. All right, challenge number 6.
Excellent. So this challenge is pretty tough, but only because I think I'm pretty bad at these sorts of things. So the goal of the challenge here is to move the boulders onto the marked spaces, push them around, and invariably get stuck like I've just done here. Now, this is perfectly solvable doing it the hard way. And
You say perfectly solvable. A lot of people try to do it the hard way. I don't think I saw anyone that managed it. Did you?
I don't think anybody did. At least nobody I spoke to, and I definitely haven't. But I'm pretty bad at these things. But it is solvable. It absolutely is solvable, and I'll prove that now by using the easy method. Some might call it cheating. I call it being smart. So what we can do, because these puzzles are very popular, there are the tools available to help find solutions. And in a true Blue Peter style moment, here is one I prepared earlier. So all I've done is I've taken the layout from within the badge. I've recreated it in this tool. So this tool is called JSOCO. There are many. This was just the top of the list with the best reviews. And once you've recreated it, you can use the solver to find any solution, the optimal number of pushes with the best moves. None of that's important for the purposes of the challenge, but hey, if you want to get the lowest number of moves or pushes for bragging rights, this is how you do it. So I'm going to hit start the solver, and you see it's very quick. very, very quick, and it's found a solution. So we can click on this now and we can have it show the solution. So this may be a bit tricky to read here. I'd recommend probably doing this yourself. And all it is the series of key presses to solve the puzzle. So we'll swap back to the badge and I'll have a go and we'll see how well the tool works. So I'm going to hold A to restart here. And then I'm going to start to work through this.
Yeah, so if you haven't used one of those types of tools before, these solvers, very straightforward. Just download the tool. I don't think that I couldn't find a web-based one myself. They did all require install. Recreate the map. It's a very simple sort of level, and then yeah, choose your solve option. And even when you've got the solution in front of you, it can take a couple of attempts because it's easy to get out of sequence. Yeah, I found this one quite frustrating. I really wanted to solve it the brain power way. And there were people coming up to us at the event wondering if it was essentially impossible, but you just had to get kind of close, or if there was some trick to it.
Nearly there. I think I pressed the right buttons.
I think you could do the last two in either order, can't you? Yeah.
And there we go.
Dance.
99 moves. 99 moves, 20 pushes. There we go. And the next door is now unlocked. It is a tough challenge. It's a fairly common challenge from especially older games. If anyone remembers the dark caves from the Pokemon games on Game Boy, I spent many hours banging my head against these puzzles and clearly never got any better. Now, yeah, feel free to, as Tom said there, absolutely. It's, try and solve this properly. But if you want to just get to the next challenge, you want to move on, you want to prove it's solvable, use one of those solutions.
Yeah, definitely tough if you don't know those kinds of solvers exist. But hopefully, having seen that, knowing what to Google for, yeah, not too tricky once you find them. We're going to take a short break there, but we'll get the rest of the challenge solutions up very, very shortly. So watch this space.